I'll just give a small background about myself. I'm Andrea. I'm one of the ARDD ambassadors, and I've been with ARDD for the past 4 years. Had the wonderful opportunity to travel there and meet the amazing people that come. And this year it's bigger than ever, so we're happy to be having the chance to interview today. And let's just start with a background from both of you. Love to know what you do.
Great. Yeah, I'm happy to go first. I'm Melanie Goldey. I'm the CEO of Tally Health. We're a consumer longevity company that is helping to bring science-backed tools to consumers to help them live healthier for longer. My background has been in technology and consumer and healthcare. And so building Tally was really a wonderful culmination of a lot of my personal passions, and excited to be here.
Yeah. And my name is Max Shrokirev. So I am the head of computational biology and data science at Tally. My background's in bioinformatics, genomics, immunology, aging, this is basically an amazing opportunity for me to kind of apply what I've learned over the years and apply the science that I'm really passionate about.
Fantastic. Thank you for the intros. And would you tell me what distinguishes your company from other longevity companies in the space?
Yeah, so I think that, the mission of Tally is really to bring all of the innovation and key takeaways that people are learning about and studying in longevity and aging labs around the world, but being able to create a platform through which your broader general consumer can take advantage of those learnings. I think what we've seen is an incredible rise in the curiosity around longevity and a consumerization of the topic as more and more people are understanding that there is a direct connection between what you do in your life and your habits and how that impacts not only how you age, but also your lifespan and longevity overall. And so where we've seen other companies that have been cropping up in longevity space with really amazing products, we think that they're awesome potential collaborators, but where we see our differentiation is helping to really educate people on the fact that you can do something about changing the trajectory of how you age. So we provide a lot of content to our community on a weekly basis, helping them to just be more aware of what they can do, and then science-backed interventions that they can continue to incorporate into their life on a regular basis, such as regular epigenetic age testing, personalized health recommendations, and a line of pro-longevity supplements.
Fantastic. Yeah, and it's so true that if people don't know what to look for, they sometimes just don't know where to go. So thank you for that. But what motivated you to become an ARDD sponsor this year?
Well, I'll go first, and I would love Max to share his perspective on this as well. But I think there's two things for me. First and foremost, ARDD is the largest longevity forum, I think, globally, where, longevity researchers, people who are studying in the field, people who are actively contributing to academia, as well as entrepreneurs, investors, and press are now all sort of congregating in this space for a week to talk about how to move the industry forward. So I think that the mission of ARDD is incredibly important, and it's an incredible community to be part of. So in the past, we've attended and we've had our scientists learn and make partnerships and meet people and network. But this year, we really wanted to step up and help to put a little bit more behind our participation in terms of the overall sponsorship.
Yeah, I mean, just to add, I was at ARDD last year, and it was amazing. Such a great time. So I was immediately like, okay, we have to sponsor this. This is the conference to sponsor. So
And
I went straight to Melanie.
Will you be there in person this year?
Yeah. I am presenting. I'm presenting this year. Yeah.
Fantastic. We're really looking forward to that. And what actually led you to longevity in the first place?
Yeah, so I mean, I can talk about that. So I got my PhD looking at immunology and like kind of the process of immunology, which is important for aging. So I worked on that, and then I ended up starting at the Salk Institute in La Jolla, which is a world-renowned institute with a lot of kind of leading longevity researchers working there. So I got exposed to the kind of the broader field, and working with these experts, and learned a lot about genomics and the power of technology, high throughput sequencing. There's so much out there, so much data that you can gather, and then you can apply all these different algorithms to it. So I was very, very fortunate to get a chance to work with the leading researchers at the Salk Institute. And at the same time, actually, a very good friend of mine reached out to me, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to work on publishing papers on the side?" And I'm particularly interested in like looking into aging. So we started working kind of in our off hours, researching different aspects of aging, evolution of aging, building different clocks, analyzing publicly available data. So really kind of had this passion for aging through with my friend, who's also now, he's a tally, he's one of the tally scientists that I work with. So kind of, he's the one that kind of got me introduced to Tally, and I was very happy to join the team, the founding team of Tally, back at the very beginning, when it was just a few of us. Yeah, so basically this is a great opportunity to work on the science that I've kind of been developing over the years with my colleague. And yeah, I mean, I think, this is kind of how I got into aging and longevity, and I'm very excited to be at Tally, kind of now working directly with people, right? So we're a direct-to-consumer company, so we actually get to interact with people, not just kind of work on the theory or the tools.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a little bit of a different route since I'm not a trained scientist like Max and some of our colleagues are. But I've, kind of come up through the startup route. And, I've always had my personal passions in technology, consumer, and actually healthcare. I've worked at digital healthcare startups as well as a women's health startup as well prior to Tally. And I think that, like, for me, once I started digging into all of the science and some of the papers, when I was talking to the Tally team, Max and others sent me, white papers to read. And I was just absolutely blown away by the fact that, number one, the innovation has come so far. Number two, that there's sufficient evidence now that shows that it's not only your genetics at play that can change how you age. Actually, depending on the research study that you read, anywhere between 10 to 30% of your longevity is based on your genetics, which means the other piece of it is your lifestyle choices and your environment. And that to me is was pretty shocking. And I said, gosh, you know what? Like, as a mother, as a woman, as just somebody who is interested in just being healthy, like, we need to tell more people about this. And so it really stemmed from there, of this like deep core mission, I think, from all of us members of the team to not only create really amazing science-backed tools, but to also just, again, going back to that raising awareness and that mission for us to just constantly help people educate themselves about the latest science and what you can do to live healthier.
Thank you. And what would you say were the most exciting things for you in longevity when you were just starting your journey in this field?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think I was just fascinated by just how complicated the biology of aging was, and the fact that we were actually able to now get a glimpse into the complexity and try to understand it. So I think this is a really exciting time to be kind of doing research in longevity and aging, and I think that's because we have all these new tools and approaches and computational models. So we have a lot of things coming together, as well as I get, public interest, there's funding interest. So it's a very exciting time. And, that was starting out, like when I was starting out, that was just starting to kind of become the reality. So that kind of, I was very interested at the beginning, and now it's kind of really grown. So very excited.
Awesome.
I think one of the most amazing things that we've learned at Tally, Max mentioned that we're direct to consumer, and so we get to, obviously see what our customers are doing in terms of, improving their overall Tally age score, which is the name that we gave to the epigenetic age result that you get from our Tally age test. But we're also really looking at like, what are people doing? What are the, significant drivers of aging? What are maybe some less significant drivers of aging, and getting a lot of insights. And that all stems from the great work that Max is leading. But one of the things that we saw was at the end of last year, 62% of our members were able to improve their epigenetic age by an average of 2.3 years. And so, I mean, that was pretty astonishing, because of course we were hearing from people like, oh, I feel healthier. This is great. Like, thank you so much. I feel more energy, et cetera, which is qualitative information. We were so encouraged by the fact that when Max analyzed the data that we had, that we were actually also showing a quantitative improvement in people's overall wellness. And so that together, I think, is incredibly powerful, and obviously early signs, but, really encouraging for us and our team as we continue to push our product and solutions forward, to just really be able to say like, hey, we can measure that we're actually really helping people through these lifestyle changes or through the supplements, et cetera. So, that's been really rewarding, I think, and fulfilling to see. And then, with our test, which we really believe in, we think the test is amazing and highly accurate, but really presenting this idea to the world of like why it's important to continue to repeat test. I think that, for Tally, it was really important to us to educate people that just as you would weigh yourself on a scale regularly, obviously a very simple example. But, when you're looking at something like your epigenetic age, you really want to look at that over time. And if you want to do that, it's important to have a measurement tool that's not only accurate and reliable, but one that you can use over time to see your progress, to track your progress. And so that's been really great to see as well, because for us, it was really, I think we were one of the first companies to come out and say, no, don't just take one test. This isn't a one and done. This is a repeat thing. And to be able to look at the insights from that longitudinal data has been really, I think, fascinating.
Yeah, so like normalizing it as part of your lifestyle, as you mentioned, I think it's a really cool perspective to take, and just taking these tests regularly. So I'm actually working on my own startup where we're integrating lots of different medical tests, including potentially epigenetic tests like yours. And I was wondering, so if people were to take it regularly and let's say upload their epigenetic test results, would it be displayed as like an epigenetic age, or are there multiple markers you would like rank them on?
Yeah, so right now we give you back like a epigenetic age. So it's a number, just like you would use your chronological age. It's sort of like, for simplicity, one number that represents kind of your overall aging trajectory. And so we felt like from a consumer experience, that would be easy to resonate. And then also something that you could kind of just look at and kind of immediately understand, where you are. In addition to the age result, we also provide people what's called like a lifestyle score. So that's just a number out of 100. So again, very intuitive. You can sort of see how you're doing on any given basis. And then if you want to double click on that, we have 5 categories underneath that. They're diet, fitness, sleep, mental health, and habits. Habits is things like smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol. And within those, we also give you a score out of 100. So it's less of a traditional biomarker per se, and it's more of like a more, I think, intuitive, consumer-friendly user experience, where we're saying, okay, almost like a gauge, how are you doing? Is it positive? Is it negative? And then importantly, how is that tracking over time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So please.
No, I was going to add a little bit. So we also provide customized recommendations based on both your test and what you put in your lifestyle, what you answered in your lifestyle survey, and just based on what people are doing that are in the same cohort. So, we also look at people that are like you, but maybe doing something different, and we can then use that to kind of give you a customized recommendation on what you should prioritize, which I think is useful.
Cool. And
Yeah. And one thing to just one more thing to add to that is, Max and the team have had incredible foresight in the way that they built the aging clock itself. And, happy to share this with you afterwards, but the team has a published paper about the underlying methodology of our aging clock, as well as some really interesting insights in there. And so I would encourage anybody to check that paper out online. But the model itself, which Max can talk about in more detail if you'd like, it is a highly computational, very sophisticated model. It is also built in a way that in the future or down the road, we could ingest additional types of information, whether that be first party data or collaborative data with other partners or organizations. And similar to any other sort of machine learning AI type of model, that data can be ingested and used in a way to continue to make the experience even more robust. So I think that that's interesting because it's not only a next generation aging clock that we have, but we also have the ability on the back end to sort of layer in additional data and analyses to, potentially provide a more robust experience.
So do you have any plans for updating the test in the near future with new parameters, for example?
We don't disclose our upcoming roadmap, but we would love for you all to stay tuned.
I think what I can say is that we're always looking to improve things, and that I'm excited about it.
Fantastic. And I was wondering, so for young students and university students, high schoolers, what would you recommend if they're just entering the longevity field and let's say want to go into the industrial or commercialization route?
Yeah. So, I think what you can do to start out is learn about the technologies, right? So I think a lot of the science is being driven by kind of this boom in technologies for both collecting data, right? So different types of assays, genomic data, wearable data, right? Like you have all these different types of inputs that are coming in. So if you can learn about what those technologies are, what are their limitations, and what are the pros and cons, and I think then also think about how would you analyze and combine those results. So I'm biased. I'm coming from the science and data point of view, but I think that's a good way to start. And there's a lot of public resources out there, both in terms of like learning how to do that and just getting the data, right? So there's a lot of public data that's available, which is kind of how I got started. So I recommend doing that.